You want to get on the back? Can I take you home? Did I just get hit by bird bones? What the heck was that? Is that what that was? Hey guys, this is Colby with Moto Safari, bringing the best consumer reviews on bikes that you guys are looking at. So just wanted to go over today real quick my GoPro setup. So let me switch the camera around real quick. So here it is as a whole. So on the front I've got a GoPro Hero 7 Black mounted with a standard front mount. So it just slides right in there. No need for a swing arm around front. I just attach it right there in the front. From the side, I have the kind of annoying 3.5 millimeter adapter, which plugs into the side of the GoPro right there. And then piggybacking on the back, I have this external battery to make sure it keeps it charged. From the other perspective, as far as a miking standpoint, I have it run, and any lavalier mic will work in this case, but I have it run all the way underneath the helmet. I took all the G pads out and then routed it all the way and came out there and attached it with some Velcro. If you're interested in specific links to where I bought the mic, just leave a comment and I'll drop it below. Otherwise, I'll probably end up putting it in there anyway. Any helmet will work, but for this setup, you need a standard helmet, not a modular like my Tech 2, for example, or this build is both modular as well, because the way the wiring is, I wouldn't be able to bring up the front and obviously not be able to film if the modular lid was up. So it just makes it easier. So get yourself a cheap helmet. Not that HOC all are cheap, but it's a lot cheaper than like a $700 modular helmet, but you just have to wire that a whole lot differently. But otherwise than that, this thing has been rock solid. I've gotten footage and it stayed on and stayed in place with industrial Velcro for hours on end. So, yep. And guys, I forgot real quick, this housing is an aluminum housing I got off of Amazon. It's awesome. It actually comes with, you can change out these filters as well. It makes it look cooler and makes the footage better. So changing filters out, it's an awesome thing to do to be able to make your content pop. So now I'm gonna switch over to the helmet. All right guys, so real quick before I head out, just wanted to show you the first mod that I've done in this 19R3. I've got some more to come that'll be in the mail next week that I'll be doing a build series on this bike. But first of all, highly recommend this Akrapovic GP exhaust. I wish I did have a stock exhaust sound to compare it to, but let me just give you kind of a taste of the difference here. So throatier, deeper. Sounds awesome. Let's go ahead and go. So a little bit cloudy today, but we'll make do. It's always a good day to ride, unless it's freezing cold or holy crap, I'm out of gas. So real quick, I wanted to go over my opinion of the best beginner motorcycle. And there are so many different areas that you can concern yourself with, whether you are going to be a cruiser type of guy in the future or a sport bike guy. For these purposes, I believe if you're going to be a sport bike guy, if you don't have any experience on a bike, starting with one of these is a good it's a not only good but a great option in my opinion. So why is this a good option? The 300cc class has historically been known to be like a okay commuter bike, but it's lacked performance, okay? But when it comes to this bike, you're talking about something that, like I've said in the previous video, my review of this bike, it's a bike you can get for at 5K or under. And you have on the 19 model inverted forks, some awesome upgrades. And you don't see that in a regular entry level bike, and that's because this is not an entry level bike. You'll see guys take these things to the track all the time. Yeah. Also, stock. This thing comes with, what in the world is going on here? He just does not have a care. These things have adjustable suspension that you can adjust the back spring like 10 levels, which is crazy. The last model I only had 7, and most bikes you buy, especially in this range, like the KTM 390, do not have adjustable suspension. And that's a huge thing, because if you are a female, for example, you'll probably have this on a softer setting. If you're a male, upwards of 200 pounds, you're probably going to harden this thing up to level 6 or 7. But let's go back to what a good beginner motorcycle looks like. To me, it's something that is extremely comfortable. You need to have your feet flat on the ground when you stop. Something that's not too powerful to get out from underneath you. Something that has stability and practicality. Something that you're going to be excited to ride, but has enough power to get out of trouble if you need to. Because if you haven't watched my other video just for a everyday scenario, go watch it and you'll see a person merging right on top of me. I mean, people do not see motorcycles, and that's one of the reasons I changed the exhaust on this to make it a little bit louder. It's because of that fact. But if you look down at my feet, I am flat-footed. This bike, I can stand up straight and the bike will be in between my legs. So you want that feel, because when you're learning something like clutch control, if you accidentally stall a bike when you're starting out, it could get out from underneath you. You could break your leg if it falls on you the wrong way. It could do all sorts of mess, and you could honestly get into trouble at a stoplight. So, as I've stated before, I started on a CB500F, but historically I have been riding dirt bikes all my life, so the clutch and shifting was not really a learning curve to me much. It was just get on the bike, get used to a little bit more power, a little bit different clutch point, and go from there. But you will have to sit on any bike that you're considering buying. Don't just be like, oh, I have to go get an R3, or even if you're ridden the path, I have to go get an R6 because that's what my buddies drive and I want to go keep up. An R6 might not be comfortable for you. I mean, in all reality, like a Gixxer might be the most comfortable long-term fit for you. And taking brands out of it, this first bike for you doesn't need to be a status thing. It needs to be a safety thing. Because there are so many ways to die on a motorcycle, but there's so many ways to have fun.
Kawasaki has a 400 class bike, which kind of bridges the gap, the Ninja 400, between like the 250, 300 class and the next level up. But the reason I like this 300 specifically is it's a 300 Super Sport that revs to 13, which means you can grow on this really easily and you're not going to run out of revs. Like a CB500 rev to like, I don't think it even revved to 10, which is not good. This thing is fun though. Your first bike, a couple stories come to mind. I'm not going to say anything specific you have to get, because I don't think everyone's body is made differently. Everyone's going to lean towards a specific direction. Everyone's going to have a much greater learning, or a different learning curve to a bike. The one thing is, sit on the bike that you're considering buying, and if possible, drive it. Like if you have a friend who has a bike that you might want, get on it, because this thing needs to feel to you like it fits like a glove. And if it doesn't, you're in trouble. So right now I'm gonna go grab some gas. This thing turns really well. But a couple stories just to tell you guys that of nightmare situations with getting a beginner bike from people who don't know what they're talking about and don't know horsepower in a bike is a lot different than horsepower in a car. Is my wife has just taken the MSF class, and there's a guy in there that had bought an S1000RR and can barely even drive around in a parking lot. In that situation, that bike will kill you. Like, there is no way around it. Something will happen. I'm scared of that bike, and I'm probably getting a new one. But I've been riding for 10 years. I was on a 500 class bike, which is a lot less than a 600 Super Sport, for 4 years before I ever upgraded to a liter bike. So, and the other situation is I was in the motorcycle shop the other day and a guy came in. I was talking to him and he was like, I want a V4 as my first bike, because I just bought this crazy fast Porsche, and that is even crazier than an S1000. You're talking about over 210 horsepower, depending on which model. And you can't equate car horsepower to bike horsepower, because if you have a 200 horsepower bike, your wheel will go up probably in 4th gear. And do you think that's going to be a safe thing to do as your first bike? I really have to give this thing some gas to even have some torque. What in the heck is happening here? Come on, Nancy. Alrighty, I'm gonna get some gas real quick, guys, and I will be back. Alright guys, well, what are some practical bikes to start on, just from a objective consumer standpoint? Got the Yamaha R3, which probably tops my list because I did my research and I started my wife on this bike. This is her bike, so I trust it. Second, Ninja 400. Third, the Honda CB500R and 500F. Had great experiences on both of those bikes. The F just won out because I like the naked look. But the 500s are crappy on the highway. At least the naked bike was. And to note, the 500R is a little bit more bulky than this bike. I mean, this bike feels light as a feather. So what we're probably gonna do is I'm gonna go, and I just stalled. What we're probably gonna do is go up to the highway up here. All these things are from my personal opinion, but I would never say to somebody to start on a super sport bike that's not this 300 class. Do not start on a 600RR or an R6 or a ZX6R or GXXR 600. Do not start on a leader bike. It's not even going to be fun because you're going to be scared to death of it. You're not going to get a lot of miles under your belt when you can't even put your leg over something without freaking out. Now, things like that. So, from a beginner standpoint, you probably wouldn't know to stand up to brace yourself in that type of situation. But stuff like that happens on a heavier bike. If you can't handle that, you're screwed. And this bike, so I'm at 8. You gotta ring it out. Well, I have no issues going fast on this. That is more than enough speed for a beginner bike. That's more than enough get up and go. So, Ninja 400, the R3, the Honda CB500 bikes, the F and the R are probably the top 4 bikes on my list. If you go anything less than a 300cc bike, like a 250, it's not going to be enough power. You're either going to get bored with it really fast, not be able to even hardly ride on the highway, and you're not going to be able to get out of trouble. So, evasion with the motorcycle is paramount, because honestly, if these were created today, they probably wouldn't be legal. I mean, look at our laws with the seatbelts. You can get a ticket for not having your seatbelt on in a car, but I'm pretty much sitting on an engine right now, and if I get hit, I'm breaking my body somehow. So you got to think about that. There's always the opportunity to grow. And you don't want your ego to get in the way of realizing that progression with learning a motorcycle has to happen in increments. You don't just hop on a bike and head to a track day. There's lots of nuanced muscle memory things that have to take place, that this bike will become a second part of you. And it needs to be like that, because if you can't control it the way you want to control it, you're not going to be able to stay out of that pivotal situation where you have half a second to react. Leave me a comment below of what you started on and whether you think it's a good idea. And subscribe to Moto Safari to help me keep making some great content. Otherwise, keep riding, and I'll keep showing you guys as much as I can from experience of which bikes are working, which bikes are more practical for the road, etc. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll finish this thing out with some highway time on this R3 here in a little bit. Still tuck in right here, and the air is all the way over my head. So if you're gonna be ouch, mulch, and dead animals. Oh my god. The bird just got destroyed. I forgot what I was even talking about because this truck just hit a bird. Did I just get hit by bird bones? What the heck was that? Is that what that was? Bird bones. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. Anyway, so the riding position is not aggressive on this. You're not going to want a super aggressive riding position. Just for pure comfort on your first bike. But I'm in 6th gear going the speed limit, a little bit over, but you're not going to have an issue, and this bike is not super loud at the speed, which is awesome. Other than that, guys, I do highly recommend this bike. Even if you're in it for even just a year or so, I mean, you're talking about $5 grand for something that will really get you comfortable on a bike, and that could be an awesome second bike to have. You won't even have to sell this thing. So again, this is Colby with Moto Safari, bringing you the best consumer reviews of motorcycles that I can get my hands on. Got some awesome new content coming soon, specifically some upgrades I'm doing to this bike. Other than that, guys, ride safe, and I'll see you on the road. Everyone say hi to Heather. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi to YouTube. What's your name? You want to get on the back? Can I take you home? Oh my gosh, I wasn't talking about that. Oh, she's pointing me. She's like an airport traffic control.